In this video, we'll explore how to implement versioning in an Asp.NET Core Minimal API. I'll walk you through step by step, from setting up versioned endpoints to testing them in Postman and even integrating Swagger for easier testing. By the end, you'll know multiple ways to manage versions in your API. So let's get started. First, let's begin by installing the required libraries. To start with, I'm installing the Asp.Versioning.Http package. Along with that, we'll also install the Asp.Versioning.Mvc.ApiExplorer library. Now, let's create two folders named v1 and v2 inside the endpoints folder. Inside each folder, I'll add a class called demo endpoint. For version 1, let's add a get method that returns an array of integers containing 10 numbers starting from 100. I'll also add a static method to map the endpoint. If you are new to Minimal API, I recommend watching my previous video where I covered Minimal API development in detail. Next, I'll create a versioned group object by defining the URL, assigning it an API version set, and mapping it to the API version. In this case, it's version 1. After that, I'll just map the get method. In the same way, I've mapped version 2 as well, but in version 2, the integer array contains 10 numbers starting from 200. Now, let's move on to injecting the dependency services. First, we'll add API versioning. We'll set the default API version to 1. We'll also enable report API versions by setting it to true, and we'll set assume default version when unspecified to true as well. For now, I'm providing the API version reader as URL segment API version reader. This means the application will currently identify the version only from the URL. I'll show you other options a little later. Next, let's add the API Explorer service. We'll configure it by providing values for the required options. After that, we'll create an object of API version set. Here, we can specify the versions currently available in our application, which are version 1 and version 2. Finally, we can map both the endpoints from the v1 and v2 folders. Now, let's test the API using Postman. When I try with the v1 URL, we get the numbers starting from 100. So that's working fine. Next, let's change the URL to v2. This time, we receive the numbers starting from 200. So, as you can see, URL-based versioning works perfectly. But as I mentioned earlier, we actually have multiple options for the API version reader. Let me combine all of these options together. They are URL segment API version reader, header API version reader, media type API version reader, and query string API version reader. For all of them except the URL option, we need to provide a key name as a parameter. Now, let's also create a group without a version number in the URL and map it. We'll do the same thing for version 2 as well. Now, if I remove the version number from the URL, it still executes version 1 because we've set version 1 as the default. Next, let's try assigning the version number in the query string. As you can see, it executed version 2. Now, let's test the header option. That also works fine. Let me try the media type option as well. And yes, this works perfectly too. So, all the options are functioning correctly. Finally, if we try with a version that isn't available, we'll receive a bad request response. I've also integrated Swagger to display the versions. You can check the source code, which is available on Patreon, to refer to the Swagger configuration. Swagger makes it much easier to test different versions by simply selecting and executing the methods. Also, don't forget to check out our .NET Core Web API playlist for more related content. The link is available in the description. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you all in the next video. Thank you.